Oh, baby, he doubled down. Oh my goodness, man. This is a new level of delusion, everybody. Goodness. Okay, so, if you see my last video, we went through the entire fearless truth section of the debate between on Inspiring Philosophy's channel with Libiano and Dean and Nick here and Mike Than and whoever the British guy is. I think his name is Chris. So we went through that, right? Dismantled Nick's entire argument step by step, showed that he has no clue what he's talking about. And I had a sneaky suspicion. I was like, you know what? This dude is so full of himself and so dishonest. And I know for a fact that some people are going to pop into his stream to like egg on about the fact that he lost that thing. But he's so full of himself and he thinks he won that I bet when somebody asks him about it, he addresses it in his next stream. And boy, was I right. Okay. We've got 3 sections of this stream that we're going to watch. This is the stream, right? This is the very next stream that Nick did after he posted the debate. And the thumbnail for the actual debate is him in a chef's hat saying that he baked Libiano. Absolute retard. I don't understand how anybody with a brain can think that they won that. And this is the very next one. It's literally the next live stream that he did. So we're going to go through these, and you're going to see just how delusional this guy is. Okay?
Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Okay, you want me to show you where some Shimon was saying that you're wrong yesterday?
No, I'm asking, can you show me where I'm wrong and what I said?
Yeah, I made a claim that Sam, who would you take from, right? Who you listen to.
Do you know what sarcasm is or not? Did you not know that literally? Did you not know that later that live, I literally went on his live that night?
Yeah, I know you went there, but he told you that you're wrong.
So you didn't know that was sarcastic?
I can.
Okay. So the guy who's on Nick's stream right now in this clip is kind of mumbling and talking really low. But he's talking about when Sam called him out. You remember the last video, those pictures that I showed where Sam said, give it up, you're making him look good? Nick is under the delusion that Sam was being sarcastic there. That he wasn't actually saying that Nick was wrong. Okay? Let's let him continue. This specific portion goes on for roughly 3 minutes.
Show it to you.
So you didn't know he was being sarcastic?
No, he was right.
If he was right, show me he was right.
Yeah, I got you. I can show you right here. Look.
Okay, show me. Go ahead.
Okay, you know what? Actually, before we get too into it, because the argument goes in a different direction. So, Nick thinks Sam was being sarcastic, right? This is Sam's live stream. The part 2 review of the debate. It's the one where he's chest pressing pizzas, okay? This video, at about the hour mark...
Muhammad is dead. Islam is false.
Right? I don't know exactly when he starts talking about Nick's section, but from like the hour to like the hour 30 mark, Sam spends 30 minutes plus showing why Nick is wrong. Sam does the work for us, in all honesty, right? Like, if people actually sat through Sam's stream long enough to get to this point, I didn't even have to make my last video because Sam demolishes Nick's argument anyway. So, no, Nicholas the Ridiculous, Sam was not being sarcastic. He was actually telling you that you were wrong and you're just too stupid to understand that. It doesn't matter if you popped into his live later on that night. He spent 30 plus minutes dismantling your stupid argument. Okay. So, and again, this is that stream. If anybody wants to go check it out and make sure I'm not lying, because I've had people like that before. This is the stream where he's chest pressing pizzas and it's like an hour in, 56 minutes, 10 seconds. He's like, they're just getting into the argument, and then he starts going into all the reasons why Nick is wrong. So, got that part out of the way. Now let's listen to this delusional, sad individual change the argument. Pay very close attention. I'm going to include clips from my last video, right? And there's going to be something very different about Nick's argument in this stream that was not in the debate.
Show me that he was
So,
right.
so
in
you
what he
disagree
said.
with Sam, right?
Show me that you said you believe that when he said I was wrong, that he's right on me being wrong. Show me.
Yeah, because the word proskuneo that is going to be used in Chronicles and the one that is used, for example, in Matthew, they're the same. They function the same way.
Okay, do words function the same way if the amount of subjects are different?
You catch that? Do words function the same way if the amount of subjects are different? What he's referring to is the difference between proskune sen and proskune san, right? He, she, it worshipped versus they worshipped. Let's continue.
The word that is used, proskuneo, both functions the same way.
That's not what I
Both
asked. I
passages.
said if a word has two different subjects, does that mean the word functions the same way, or is that a difference?
A word has two different subjects.
Yes, if a word is in reference to two different subjects, two different amount of subjects, is there a difference there?
Okay, if the word is in reference to two different amounts of subjects. Let's keep going.
And in the case of proskuneo, no.
What? Then what do you think an active indicative is?
We're going to have to rewind that, and I'm going to have to turn up the volume because I didn't actually hear what that dude said.
Different subjects.
Yes, if a word is in reference to two different subjects, two different amount of subjects, is there a difference there?
And in the case of proskuneo, no.
What? Then
Okay, so he said in the case of proskuneo, no, there's no difference. And this dude is completely right. Okay? There is no difference between he, she, it worshipped and they worshipped. Not in the meaning. It's literally just a change in the number of subjects, like I said. Nick is going to try and claim that that actually does change the meaning. But, remember what I said he likes to do in the last video? He likes to pivot. Okay? This caller correctly stated, no, it does not change the meaning of the word. Watch what Nick does.
what do you think an active indicative is?
Both are used the same way. The one that is used in Chronicles is also used in active indicative.
Exactly. And what is, and what,
What do you mean
I know.
First of all, he just said exactly, as if he knows that they were both active indicatives in Matthew, what was it, 23:9, I think, and the first Chronicles verse. He knows now because people have spent the past few days making videos about how retarded his argument was. But it's very clear if you go back and watch my last video that he didn't actually know that in both cases they were active indicatives. Because repeatedly, he was asking Libiano to show him that it was an active indicative in both cases. Okay? Now that he's had a few days to realize how stupid he is, oh, now, exactly, they're both active indicatives. No, this dude did not know that at the time that he was making this argument.
I know it
In
is.
Matthew, it's used the same way.
I agree it
It's used
is.
the same way in
What?
Matthew.
Oh, dear
This
Lord,
guy's
I know it
embarrassing.
is. What is an active indicative? What does that mean?
See? So again, he's pivoting. Now he's trying to discredit the dude by getting him to explain what an active indicative is. Which, it doesn't even matter, right? It doesn't even matter what active indicative means. And I'll explain it. But it doesn't matter to what this guy is saying. Because what active indicative means does not change the meaning of the verse or the word or anything like that, right? Nick is only doing this so he can discredit this individual as not knowing what they're talking about and then dismiss his argument as completely invalid. okay? For anybody who doesn't know what an active indicative is, the indicative mood merely signifies to the reader that whatever is being spoken of is reality, right? Whether it's past, present, or future, whatever is being spoken of is a real event, okay? It will take place in reality. It's not hypothetical or anything like that. That's all the indicative does, okay? What the active part does just means that the subjects of the phrase are the ones performing the verbal action, right? Active, like for example, if I were to say John wrote a letter, okay, that's in the active sense because the subject, John, is the one performing the verb, writing, to write. John is the one who writes the letter. If I say the letter was written by John, that is now in the passive sense, okay? Because the subject is now the letter. It's no longer John, all right? So the only difference between active and passive is that when you have active, the subject performs the verb, and when you have passive, the subject receives the verb, okay? So again, active, the subject is John, he writes. Passive, the subject is the letter, and it is written. It receives the verb. It receives the writing by John. Okay? Again, that is the only difference between active and passive. And it being an indicative just means it's a statement about reality. Okay? So in the verse in question, when it says they worshiped Jesus, it's in the active sense. Okay? If it had been passive instead of active, the verse would merely say, and Jesus was worshipped by them. Again, it doesn't change the meaning. But because Nick is a deceitful bastard, honestly, he'll now exploit that this young individual, this young man, doesn't know these grammatical terms to discredit his whole argument.
You just mentioned that in Matthew it's used as an active indicative.
It's used in both. I agree. What is an active indicative?
Let me finish.
Oh my goodness.
Let me finish. You mentioned that it is used as an active indicative in Matthew, and I'm telling you the same word that functions the same way as an active indicative is in Chronicles.
I already said that. I already agreed. Dear God, please listen. I already agreed. I asked you, what is an active indicative?
I told you that functions the same way. What do you mean what's an active
What
indicative?
is an active indicative, dude? What does it mean for a word to be an active indicative?
Yeah, we have to look into that.
Yeah, you have to look into that. Bro, get off of my line, bro. You know what the freak you talking about? It has to do with the subject surrounding. So yes.
It has to do with the subject surrounding, Nick. Does it? That's what active indicative means? It has to do with the subjects? The amount of subjects? You are a lying piece of garbage, Nick.
So they both are in the active indicative, but the active indicative very clearly states the context matters and the amount of subjects. You guys are all exposing yourself. This is how
that doesn't change. The context does. The active indicative does not say anything about context. Okay? The number of subjects does not say anything about context. Like I already demonstrated in my last video, Genesis 33:6. Same exact form as Matthew 23:9, alright? Aorist, active, indicative, third person plural, okay? The indicative, active, and the third person plural says nothing about context.
Hilarious. You're all exposing yourself, bro.
And then he kicks the dude, alright? So now that's the first example. Now we're going to go to roughly minute 29.
Yo, hello?
Yeah, what's going on?
Yo, you mentioned that it's contextually dependent. In Mark, it is context. Can you show me from the Gospel of Matthew that contextually dependent proskuneo is going to mean divine worship going for Jesus? I'm waiting.
Because it was after.
Okay, so this dude asks, can you show me contextually that it's divine worship in Matthew, right? This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is where Nick changes the argument from what he said in the debate, right? Because if you remember from the debate, he only said that the conjugation is what signifies that it's divine worship for Yahweh, right?
One of them has it in the conjugative form. The other one doesn't have it. What's the justification that because it's in the conjugative form, therefore proskuneo or proskuneson in that instance, that these two words have such a distinction?
Fantastic.
Such as one is worshiping God and the other one isn't worshiping God. What's
Fantastic.
the justification for that?
Because proskunei you will never find in the Old Testament in this conjugation given to Yahweh. Never find it. I challenge you to find me one time.
So simply by difference of the conjugation is how you can tell it's divine worship. That's it. Nothing further was part of his argument. Now that he's had a few days to realize he's stupid, listen to how he changes it.
He resurrected from the dead.
And how does that make him divine? Go on.
Resurrecting from the dead?
Yeah, how does that make him divine? Go on.
Because nobody that's not divine can raise themselves from the dead. Nobody.
Okay, so what he's saying is, because this time that he was proskuneoed to happened after he was raised from the dead, that it's now divine worship, right? Because it's part of a miracle. I think he'll explain it a little bit more in a second, so we'll keep going.
Has the power to raise himself from the dead.
Can you show me in Matthew that he raised himself from the dead? It was on the Father.
I don't take only from Matthew.
We're talking about Matthew. We're talking about the gospel. So go
That's
on.
fantastic. And when I say he raised himself from the dead, that's in John.
Look at him. He's getting baked now. From the three gospels.
What is up with y'all? Just saying y'all got baked when you didn't get anything.
Yeah, you mentioned to Libiano from the three gospels, Jesus is divine.
Yeah, can you show me? Yeah, can you show me any time in the New Testament?
Answer my question.
Oh my gosh, dude! I'm showing you because in the New Testament,
look, he's panicking now.
Do you want me to answer the question or not, dude? What is that? What's wrong with you guys? The answer to your question is: do you want in any time in the New Testament?
Why are you getting rid of them?
All right, bro. See, this is what I'm saying. Y'all just slow as frick, boy. Dear God.
Okay, so yes, this video is about Nick. Yes, we are yet again dismantling Nick's dumb argument. This is a PSA for you Muslims out there that insist on coming onto his channel or any Trinitarian's channel, okay? What I'm about to say, you are not going to like, okay? But it's for your own good. Shut the hell up and let them get their argument out. I don't know this guy, right? Nick was trying to explain his point, which would have been wrong, all right? We all already know that. And we could dismantle his argument once he got it out. Shut the hell up and let the man speak. Let him bury himself. Stop interrupting. Stop pontificating. All right? Both sides do it. But this right here was a perfect example. Just let the man talk so that he can get his stupid argument out and we can destroy it. My God. Okay, that was the end of this example because Nick kicked him. And, you know, as much as it hates me to admit, rightly so, because the dude was not letting him talk. Now we gotta skip a little bit further to about an hour and a half into this stream.
Okay. No, but I'm saying, okay, listen. When Jesus came down to earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was he worshiping himself or was he worshiping the Father? But he would pray.
Firstly, it depends how you define worship. If you're just defining
this is
worship,
the same thing that happened with Libiano yesterday. Yeah, okay.
You said what? What do you mean?
Is this not the same argument that was with Libiano? Because you told him to show me one verse in the Old Testament where I think it was what was the word makarius or something like that. I don't know what it was. And then you said that like there's nowhere in the Old Testament that says that one prostrates to another. Then he found it for you, did he not?
No. I okay. If you actually watch the debate back, I didn't ever say that there doesn't exist another time where the word is used. I said it's going to be used in a different conjugation.
Okay, so please, can you explain to me the difference in conjugation between those two?
Yes, so the difference in conjugation in here in the context is going to be in, for example, how many persons the subject is actually worshiping here or prostrating to. In Chronicles that he brung up, for example, it's going to be in the context of the Lord and the king. The king is going to be in reference to the fact that the king is also prostrating towards God and they're doing it with him.
And that's completely stupid. The verse in Chronicles does not say that they and the king proskyneson to Ya'ol. It says they proskyneson to Ya'ol and to the king. So now he's just twisting that verse entirely and saying that the king is included in that worship to God. Which, ultimately, yes, the king does worship God. But in the context of that verse, those people were worshiping God and the king simultaneously because the king is God's anointed, chosen representative on earth.
In Matthew, you see that the difference is when we actually look at the prostration is done only to Christ, and it's done post-miracle. So it's done because of a miracle.
Yeah.
See? The change in the argument. Nowhere in the debate with Libiano did he say anything about miracles. Now, all of a sudden, that he knows that it's active indicative in both cases. Oh, yeah, well, that's because for Jesus, it was post-miracle. And you know what? That's fine. That's fine if he wants to change the argument, because I already got you guys covered. I already have you guys covered, okay? So, now the argument is not that they're the same conjugation, because now Nick apparently knows that and has known that the entire time, right? No. Now the argument is that it was post-miracle, okay? So, John 14:12. Jesus says, "Truly, truly, I say to you, the one believing in me, the works that I do, also he will do. And greater than these he will do, because I to the Father am going." All right? So in this verse, Jesus is saying that believers will perform works and miracles equal to and greater than what he himself did. Okay? Let's go to Revelation 3:9. "Behold, I give those from the synagogue of Satan, those declaring themselves Jews to be and not are," right? So the ones from the synagogue of Satan that claim to be Jews but aren't, because they lie, "Behold, I will cause them that they will come and worship before the feet of you, and they shall know that I have loved you." Okay? So, those from the synagogue of Satan are going to worship the true believers. Those same believers who are going to be performing works and miracles equal to and greater than the ones that Jesus performed. Now, Nick will see Proskene Susan and have a complete brain fart and think that this is not the same as the word in Matthew 23:9. Yes, it is. It's just the future indicative active third person plural, as opposed to the aorist. The only difference being they worshipped, past tense, right? Versus they will worship, future tense. Now, one thing, this is kind of a side note, one thing you have to be careful with. I use Bible Hub a lot, but like we used in the last video, there's also Blue Letter Bible. However, Blue Letter Bible, you have to be careful with, because it lists quite a few different Greek sources, one of them being the Textus Receptus. In Revelation 3:9, for the Textus Receptus, this word is different, okay? In Revelation 3:9 on Bible Hub, I don't actually know the source for Revelation or for Bible Hub's interlinear, but they have it as Proskene Susan. On one of the Greek translations on Blue Letter Bible, they have it as Proskene Sosin, which is the aorist active subjunctive sense. So, again, Google's very handy here. The aorist active subjunctive, like I said, active, it just means that the subjects are the one performing the action. The subjunctive means that it might happen. It's something that may or may not happen, right? Whereas the indicative, like I mentioned earlier, is a statement about something that is real. Whether it's past, present, or future, it's a real event. So this is what the Textus Receptus on Blue Letter Bible has presented in Revelation 3:9. Proskene Sosin. And it's almost exactly the same as the future indicative active, except it has a U in the future indicative active. Now, on Blue Letter Bible, you can come up here and change to different Greek translations, and then as soon as you do, it goes back to being proskene sousin, right? So only the Textus Receptus has the proskene sousin translation. But still, if somebody had just gone to that one, they might be like, oh, it's totally different, right? It's an entirely different conjunction, so it doesn't mean the same thing, right? It just might confuse them. So now it's up to us to determine which one is actually accurate, right? Is it proskene sousin or is it proskene sousin? Fortunately, I pulled up Codex Sinaiticus. You can find this version on the Center for Study of New Testament Manuscripts, or there's also the codexsinaiticus.org website. And I went to Revelation 3:9. Codex Sinaiticus is arguably our oldest copy of Revelation. Now, it has a few scribal errors here and there. Codex Alexandrinus is a better source for Revelation, but, you know, Codex Sinaiticus is still good. It's not bad. There are just some parts of the manuscript where it's very clearly been edited or changed. This is not one of them. There's no evidence of any kind of scribal change or insertion in Revelation 3:9. And it's hard to see here because it's a little faded. You can see it on this side. I'll zoom in post video, but you can see the spelling of it. Now it has a capital, what we in English would say is a capital C. That's just the majuscule form for sigma, the letter sigma in the Greek. So if we were to spell this out in English, it would be PROSKUNESOUSI, and very common in Koine Greek. They leave off the last letter, but it's still the same form. So there's no new at the end of this in particular, but it's still proskene sousin. All right, so we have, and you know what? Let's go to the copy that's a little bit better to see. It's 8 lines up, so just count to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and here's the word. Same spelling, right? This is all majuscule again, so PRO, sigma, so SK. A capital Y in Koine Greek is for the letter U in English, right? So PROSKU, NH is, or what looks like H in English is the Greek letter eta, which is E. So E, sigma again, COUI. So the same spelling. It's proskene sousin. So one of our oldest copies of Revelation 3:9 in Greek very clearly has it written as proskene sousin, not proskene sousin. So we know, at least based on the best available evidence, that in reality it is the future indicative active third person plural and not the subjunctive in this one. Not the aorist active subjunctive third person plural. Okay, so hopefully if you ever get into a discussion with somebody about this particular verse and they bring that up, now you'll be equipped with the knowledge to counter that and say, oh, actually that reading is only from the Textus Receptus. In our best evidence, it is very clearly proskene sousin. So, but getting back to the core argument, right? Nick has now changed his argument to be that the worship was post-miracle by multiple people directed to Jesus, right? And that's how you can tell it was divine worship. Well, Revelation 3:9 very clearly gives us an example where believers whom Jesus said would perform greater works and miracles than himself are being worshipped. Okay? So that argument still fails. And again, there's nothing about the context in Matthew 23:9 or any other verse where proskuneo is applied to Jesus that would explicitly imply that it's divine worship. Nick has failed once again, and at this point, he's just delusional. A delusional liar. He denies that Sam was actually trying to correct him. He changed the argument from being simply about the conjugation to now it's about post-miracle worship. which was never mentioned in the debate with Libiano. And that's pretty much that. Like I said in the last video, a clown of epic proportion. Oh, and I did want to say thank you to all the people that have subscribed since I posted my last video. I honestly did not expect that video to get as positive of a reception as it did. Like I more than doubled my subscriber count in like one day, which, you know, I only have like 100-something subscribers, but still, that's pretty significant for a channel my size. So I wanted to say thank you to all you guys that have subscribed. And I know that a lot of you are Muslims, and that's totally fine. I got no problem with that, because a lot of my content is going to be focused on combating the Trinity doctrine anyway, which I know that you guys like to also do. More importantly, though, I know that you guys have an issue with God logic, Avery, right? So, if you'd like to be entertained further and want to watch a fantastic video of Avery's butchering of the original biblical languages, feel free to watch this video, where he absolutely butchers the interpretation of the Hebrew word Adonaic. That's honestly really great for a laugh. So, yeah, just wanted to address Nick's doubling down and absurdity. And we just gotta hold him. We have to hold him to his original arguments, right? Don't let them change them. If he wants to make separate arguments, that's fine, okay? But he can't change arguments without acknowledging that his previous argument failed. So we have to hold them to a standard of integrity, which, I mean, these guys don't have that anyway, but whatever. Yeah, I guess that's it for today's video, though, guys. So, hope everybody has a good one. Catch you in the next one.